We are back with another episode of Middle-Aged Mamas. The gang is all here. We also have the wonderful Kara Sax here to fill us in on motherhood, our phenomenal business, and all things Kara. Yes. But before we get into that, so I've been in the throes of homecoming, and it's really taken me back to my high school days. You know, I'm not trying to live through my kids. I'm not that type of parent, but it is fun to, you know, go dress shopping, and now all four of them will be at homecoming together. Aww. So I started going back down memory lane. They were like, "Oh, can you pull out some of your homecoming pictures of me and my suede dress?"
No, thank you.
But it's actually back in style, except it's not short enough, because I was wearing knee-length dresses. These girls are wearing tiny dresses. But, you know, I'm like, why you got it? You might as well, as long as it's classy. You can either have a short shirt, a short skirt, but you can't have low and short. We pick one. So I'm fine with that. But anyway, I was thinking about high school, and I was thinking about some confessions and some silly, goofy things that I did back in the day in high school. So we're going to do a new opener today called High School Confessions.
Lord.
So I'm going to start because mine is ridiculous. You guys probably won't even believe it.
Mine is more ridiculous.
So in high school, I was completely boy crazy. I mean, I was like a hopeless romantic. I wasn't like a hoe or anything. But I enjoyed having boyfriends, being on the phone, going on dates. I met this one guy at a different school. I usually dated at school, but I met some guy. I think he went to uni. Yeah, he went to uni, and I don't even remember where I met him, but his name was Jamal. I don't know his last name. So anyway, do you remember back in the day when it would be your birthday and your friends would all come with those big Mylar balloons?
Yes.
And then you'd walk around campus with your balloons.
Yes.
So I decided to send myself a gigantic arrangement of balloons for my birthday to myself. To school. Hilarious. And I remember being on remember the payphones at school? You have to go to the payphones. So I was at the payphone checking on my order, making sure it got there right at nutrition.
So everybody could see you.
Everybody could see me.
Oh my God.
With my boyfriend Jamal and my crazy self.
Thank you, Jamal.
Yes, no, I put on there because you could say happy birthday, love Jamal on the balloon. Wow. The biggest balloon you could think of.
It said that?
Yeah, no, on the balloon. Wow. It was one giant balloon.
Well, make it believable then. Make it believable.
Wait a minute. Please finish telling this story. It's not about to end up how I think it ended up.
What do you mean?
Jamal saw you.
No, he didn't go to the same school. He didn't even know about it.
That's right.
Yeah, he didn't know about it. I was just so proud with me and my mystery balloon. He was really a guy I was dating. He wasn't like a boyfriend, but I just wanted
to make anybody jealous.
No, I just wanted the attention. And so I walked around the whole day with my big old
hilarious. And nobody knew him, so nobody could like verify.
Like that called on the payphone.
Hilarious.
Nice.
I don't even know where I got the money from. Like, where did I get that money from? I probably babysat or something. So anyway, that's mine. What you got, Camila?
Mine is nothing like that. Mine just pales in comparison to yours. Just something very silly. When I was this was in the 10th or 11th grade. I think it was 10th grade. And we were correcting people's papers. We would, switch papers and correct people's paper.
Yeah.
And there was a guy in my classroom, and his name was Benjamin. His last name was something with a J, and he would always write BJ on his paper.
No.
I wrote out blowjob.
No way.
Wait, what? You wrote out blowjob?
Blowjob next to his name.
You were correcting his paper.
Oh no.
You are such a clown.
Passed it back.
So awful.
And he raised his hand and said, the teacher's name was Miss Doshi. She was one of my favorite teachers in literature.
And this is at St. Bernard's private school.
He was like, Miss Doshi, somebody wrote blowjob on my face.
So did you get caught?
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Oh no.
You just quietly laughed to yourself.
I was hoping I didn't get caught, but oh my God, I sure did that. A confession. I never told nobody.
That's hilarious. So so you never told.
I never told. So
These days are out there.
I know. It was Camila.
Sorry,
Camila back then,
he
Looper.
has since moved back to California. He was living in D.C. Sorry, told on myself.
my
Oh my gosh, that was
Wow.
me.
And last name.
So
Oh
funny.
my gosh.
Funny.
What you got done?
Mine is nothing like that, but it was naughty because I was a naughty girl. But mine was back when when LA Unified was on strike. Have all these, and so the school was closed for the day. But if you were it was still open, but the teachers were striking. But if you went to school, there were subs there, so everybody was planning to ditch. So I was actually at North Hollywood High. I planned to ditch with one of my girlfriends to go visit our other friend who lived in Granada Hills, who was at Granada Hills High, actually. So we had just enough money to take the bus to North Hollywood, from North Hollywood to Granada Hills.
But not
We
getting
already
that.
let her know, like, we gonna need you to help us out with bus fare to come back. She was like, I got you. I got you. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. We made it to Granada Hills. We were on campus. Soon as we got on campus, security looked at us and was like, y'all don't go here. They knew right away. We're still trying to find our friend. We're like asking other people, like, where is, I'm gonna say her name, Tracy. Where is Tracy? Nowhere to be found. We could not find this girl the whole time. We never found her. We had to walk from Granada Hills
Cut it out.
to North Hollywood.
Dang.
I had on some patent leather, low like pumps with a bow on it.
Girl.
Not walking shoes at all. We we should have hitchhiked. We should have like begged somebody for a ride.
Hitchhike.
We walked. I don't even know. I need to see how many miles it was. But I brag now about how much walking I do. Back then I did not.
Oh my goodness. How long did it take you?
Hours.
Of course.
Hours.
Yes.
Hours.
Y'all was just walking. Were you singing, talking? What was y'all doing on the
Mad.
walk?
We were
Sweating.
Mad.
We
Mad.
were
Huffing and
crying.
puffing.
We were thinking about what story we were going to tell our parents.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, I was living with my dad, and we ended up walking to her house first. She lived with an older sister and her mom. So the older sister then dropped me off at home. I got in the house. My dad starts going off.
Because it was late, huh?
It was late, and I just said, "Listen." I said, whatever you're going to do to me, I have already done to myself.
And my feet.
I said, you don't even need to punish me. I've already done it.
You got all deep. Why does it sound like a Cosby Show episode?
Right.
Tracy's ass, thank you for asking.
Where was Tracy?
Tracy's ass was at the movies.
No, she wasn't.
She did.
Her ass ditched with her friends.
That's a for real ditch
and
party,
was
though,
at
right
the
there.
movie theater. Thank you for asking.
I mean, Tracy.
Tracy is trifling. Remember that word, trifling?
Trifling.
Tracy
As
was
all hell.
trifling.
She was trifling.
She was at the movie theater.
But
yes,
she ditched
was.
right. She
And
did
I
the
had
right
to tell
way.
my daddy, like, you don't need to do
Why was you ditching to go to somebody's school anyway? That don't sound
the
fun.
boys. Hello.
Oh, okay.
The boys.
Okay. What do you have for us,
Yeah.
Kara?
The three of our stories had to do with boys.
Of course.
Back in the day, I was a player from the Himalayas. I never had under
Yes.
2 to 3 boyfriends at a time. I was known with my girlfriends of having parties and having all my boyfriends in a room that was probably the size of this room. So it was very small, and my friends were
Oh
like,
my
there's
Player.
no way you're going to get away with this.
Oh my
But the
goodness.
key to it was just
Oh, wow.
acting so regular. I didn't give anybody any extra attention. Everybody got the same, hey, hi, kissing on the cheek, all that, right?
That is funny.
But back then, do y'all remember three-way?
Oh, yes.
Have y'all ever gotten
Yes.
caught up on three-way?
I have. I got found out.
You got found out.
So I'll never forget thinking I was slick, thinking I was getting away with this, bragging when we got back to school, high-fiving. I got away with it again.
No.
Till I got home. I answered the phone for boyfriend number 1.
Oh.
Hey, babe. Hey, boo. How are you? Click over. I click over, right? They are both on the. I hear and I hear again, and I know I couldn't be hearing what both voices at the same time catching me up on three-way.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, so they figured it out.
They figured it out, and they called me on three-way.
Oh,
And I heard both of their voices at the same time.
wow.
And I hung up so quickly.
I
hung up so quickly. At this
You're like,
point,
right.
my mom was calling me for dinner. Gotta go.
That is so funny.
Play it.
But that's how you're supposed to do it when you're young. You gotta figure out what you like and not be too serious and have a little fun. So why not?
I'm still friends with one of them to this day. Yes, great friend. He is not.
Oh, wow.
He is not. He has a baby, but he's not married.
Oh, that is so funny. All right. That's confessional number one. Stay tuned for more confessionals coming your way. Okay, so let's get into wonderful Kara.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Kara, because she cares for us.
I certainly do.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started. Did you always want to get into marketing and branding? Give us a little bit about your background.
No, absolutely not. I had no idea. I did not think I wanted to be, certainly not an entrepreneur. My goals were to have freedom, to have a nice car, and to work the least amount of hours possible in a day.
Yes.
The irony of how I work the most amount of hours.
Right.
So I went to school. I went to Howard. And I went into a corporate executive program, which was the best thing that ever happened to me with Lincoln Financial Group. And we were in an executive program where we had to live in a different city every year. And our job was really to study under the executive leadership and really not say much. But just that listening and that observing and that traveling was really kind of the nuts and bolts of what that job was. It gave me a lot of experience, and it allowed me to kind of see from the top down how business was run. I went on to go into pharmaceutical sales, which was great because I had my own car and the low-hour job.
Yeah.
But back then, it was such high turnover. And my cousin, who I'm still cousin, sister, besties with to this day, she brought me into pharmaceutical sales. We were on top. We were number one. And they brought in a new boss, a new manager, and aged down my old boss, who I loved. And this guy was racist, narcissistic, hated women, certainly hated black women. And as someone who was at the top of my game, in the top 5 in the country at the time, had this boss who made my life so uncomfortable at the time. My sister was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer at 33 years old and given 3 months to live.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
And at that point, my whole life changed. And I realized this man was bringing me down. And he would make me go to work, and I would tell him, hey, I need to take some time off and be out of the field when my sister was going through chemo. But I had so much vacation accrued that I didn't have a regular job. I had a salary job, so I should be able to take off this time. I'll never forget, I met him in a gas station because he made me work at this day that my sister had the lowest day, and I was picking her up off the bathroom floor, and he still made me meet him. And I rolled down my window and I did something I was not very proud of, which was stuck my middle finger up at him and told him to go to hell.
Yes.
And it was one of those moments, which was the impetus of me writing this book, because it was a sabotaging moment. Needless to say, I was laid off by this job and thinking that I was invincible, being, at the top. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the case. I still was a target, and I was laid off at a point where I was at rock bottom. Long story short, I met my business partner years before and went to her and said, I want us to be in business. You are at Deloitte, being a black woman at Deloitte, climbing the ladder. She would watch so many people be promoted, and we knew that we were ready to start our own business. And at the time, Eric Schmidt, who was the chairman of Google, was a dear friend of mine and still is. And he helped me at a time and believed in me at a time where I didn't even believe in myself. He saw something special in me, and And he said, you should start your own business.
Wow.
And we did. And we started this agency. We were pitching this project. It was a project, a television unscripted series called Wingman, which would follow the lives of NBA players and NFL players. The story never got picked up. But we spent this money, you know, just to market it. And every room that we went in, we were like, we could do this better than they are. And so we became the agency that we couldn't find.
Wow. Yeah.
That was 12 years ago.
Right, answered her own question.
Yes, and it just, you know, it really propelled me off the ledge. I was in depression lost my only sister at the time, and used that as my motivation. And all I did was work, and we built this agency. Building the plane as we flew it, which was still we're doing this to this day.
It sounds like our podcast, right?
Yes.
So speaking of the book,
Yes,
your guided journal. Well, this is the journal. There's the.
this is the book.
This is the.
Yeah, this is the book that we wrote, but it is a guided journal. And what it was our way of telling our story and realizing that how did we climb a corporate ladder? How did we build, you know, a very successful ad agency? And both of us shared that it was on the heels of learning from our self-sabotaging behavior.
Self-sabotage, your win within.
It's so real. And it starts at your 0-day report. I mean, it starts, we ask, like, you know, what were the self-sabotaging traits that your mom and your daddy had, or the people who raised you?
Right.
And it makes you rank them. And then your circle, your inner circle, the people who influence you most, and really having some self-awareness. And you think about all of the self-sabotaging traits, being reactionary, being the devil's advocate, being hot-headed,
Or talking yourself out of things.
talking yourself out of things, all of these things. So it allows you to kind of assess where you are in your self-sabotaging traits and really address that. And I talk to young people all the time about it. You will want to slap someone. Okay.
Absolutely.
You will want to send that email like per the last email. You will want to inevitably do that a billion times.
Right.
And this book really teaches you how to conquer that and not burn bridges. And I think of some of the bridges that I have burned in friendships and business and relationship. And I really had some reflective self-awareness saying, I really wish I would have handled that differently. And now that is truly the key to success, in my opinion, is your ability to say, I'm not going to sabotage. I'm not going to blow this deal. We may be in business together and not see eye to eye, but there's a way for us to break up and me still want to send you a holiday card. And you still wanting to send me one.
Yeah, so true. That's why I tell my kids all the time. I can literally go back to 99% of any job that I've ever had. And sometimes I've done it.
Yes.
Or I had to make a phone call to connect me with another person. Though that quality has taken me so far because you just use it as, you know, building blocks and keep going and keep going and keep going. Had I burnt this bridge, I might not have gotten to this level. So that's very true.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you just spoke to it a few minutes ago because I was doing some research on self-sabotage because it's such a hotbed word. And I was like, is this kind of like akin to like a generational curse?
Yes.
And you just spoke to it, like picking up habits and different ideas and things that you grow up with from your mom or your dad or siblings or learned behaviors from anywhere.
Yes.
And situational, you know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's very interesting.
You know, you have to be able to separate truth versus trauma because we have trauma, right?
Yeah.
And
Most
that
of us.
is not your truth, right? And you have to be able to compartmentalize and put those in two separate buckets, particularly in business, particularly in your home relationships, because sometimes that trauma, unless you deal with it, spills over in every sense of the word. And it's, again, self-sabotage.
Yeah. Now, do you think everyone has that in them? Or do you think there are people that don't self-sabotage and can move through life just freely?
I think that people know how to manage it better.
Okay.
I mean, I talk about the emotional scale that we're on, whether it's menstrual. There's meetings that I will not take. I do something called cycling. I don't know if you heard that, where I look at when my cycle is. Don't take my word for this. For those that are still on their cycle, You look at when your good days are bad, when you killed that meeting, right?
Yeah.
When you just
I
had
was
your
thinking
words.
menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking about that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I guarantee you that your bad days are the days that you should not take interviews, you should not take meetings that are
So when you're
big.
PMSing.
Absolutely not. So without doubt, don't even look at your cycle. Just say, when did I have that great day where I felt great? You know, I was at my best, you know, and then also counter that. When did you have a bad day where you were irritable, where you just couldn't get your words together? It wasn't right. Write those days down. It's the same. Consistently, right?
Wow.
I've been in many groups. It's the same, maybe variation 1-2 days. So now with my assistant, I refuse to schedule big meetings. Definitely not an interview on those days that I'm still going through my menstrual cycle.
That's very
and on
interesting.
Those 2 days, absolutely not.
Now, have you synced up with your partner though? Do you have to
Yes.
both take days off at the same time?
I mean, we
You know
don't
how
take days
women, we do
off,
that.
but we won't be as public facing. That's for darn sure.
Okay.
Yes, she's a hot mess too. She's a hot mess on her.
Some people, like I think about, I'll certainly self-sabotage. I'll burn a bridge to the ground. And
No.
and I certainly my trauma, but I also feel like some fools don't even deserve to have my respect, my time, my attention, or even just to have that relationship with me.
Right.
And so I think about, there are bridges that I've burned that I have zero desire
Yes.
to cross
Yeah.
ever again. And some of, I think about my trauma, a lot of the ways that I move through the world is about protecting my peace.
Absolutely.
Protecting myself, but I'm certainly aware, and I think about when I'm having those days, I have to go back and say, why did that irritate me
Yes.
so damn much? And then I'll go back. If I need to, I'll go back and I'll apologize. I'll try to make it right. So I'm certainly in tune with that as
Yes.
well. But I feel like sometimes when we're doing the work, we're dealing with other people that are not doing the work.
Facts.
And you can't do anything about someone else.
That's
Right.
hard.
So I just make sure I'm at that place in my life now where I'm going to take care of myself first.
Absolutely.
I will go all out for people that I love and that I care about and that are going to be in my life forever, like my husband and my kids. But if someone is disturbing my peace, I don't care if it's my mama, my daddy, my brother. I don't care.
Yes.
I will to protect.
Yes.
To protect my peace, for sure.
I mean, I think that setting boundaries is different than burning bridges.
Yes,
I am the
yes.
queen of that. If this relationship doesn't serve me any longer, my peace is not over, I'm not going to coddle you. I'm not going to, none
Yeah.
of that.
Yes.
But bridges is different than boundaries.
Absolutely.
2 different B words.
Yeah.
Very
true.
I can set a boundary without calling you a B.
That's very true.
I can really distance myself
That's
without,
good.
and so I think that we have to
Yes.
really understand how powerful we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I remembered always, I tell this story a lot, saying I'm reactionary, and I would be like, if you gonna greet me with this, I'm gonna greet you
Absolutely.
back.
Same energy.
And then I realized that just shows that you control my power.
Very true.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to dictate
Right.
my energy.
Yeah.
You're not in control of that. And
So
so
true.
we got to get in tune with that and really practice it. It's a muscle in
Yes.
distinguishing, because it's natural for us to really be like, dispose of people.
Yeah, you're
I think
right.
that we have to end that disposable culture with people, because there has been many points where I deserve to be disposed of and have been, and I think I deserve
I have
that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not been my best self in
Yeah.
friendships, and a lot of that, was because I was young, because I didn't have therapy, because I was going through something, and I really wish that people knew that out of character component that they were greeted with
Yeah.
was not aligned with who I truly am. And they just got that bad day, Kara. They got that
that's true.
bad season, Kara. They got
Yeah.
a lot of that. And now I think about how many people I disposed of along the way and thought about what they might have been going through that I had no idea with. And so I just think that we have to stop disposing of people so abruptly, but still, to your point, keep our peace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
nobody's worth that.
Right. But also not allowing people to change your character. So, I'm not going to let the way you act dictate the way I act. I'm going to show up at this party regardless if you came to mine, because that's who I am.
Right.
I'm going to be there for your kid. Maybe I don't care about, that you didn't show up, but I'm going to be there because that's the type of person I am, the type of friend I am, the type of auntie I am.
Yeah.
So I think that's very valid.
It's work.
Yeah.
It is work because this is still south side of Chicago in me. Okay. I say I'm 90% lady, 10% rat. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Speak to that. Speak to that. What does that mean?
Every year. I mean, I think I'm at 95% lady, 5% rat in my person. But I used to be, 50-50, right? And that just means that, you could get all of this, this emotional, uncontrolled, bad energy. You could get it if you brought that out in me.
Yeah.
If you want it, right? If you want the smoke, you could.
Right.
Now it's like absolutely not. I am always going to. My goal is to lessen the rat in me. I think you need to have a little bit. 1% is good.
I think a little is necessary.
Yeah.
You need to have a little
You
rat
have
in you.
to, otherwise
you have
you
to
will
have a
get-
little rat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The rat people don't understand.
Yeah.
You have to be able to tell people,
Yeah.
where to go. Sometimes.
You don't
Absolutely.
get crushed.
Right.
Yeah, a little rat is good, and I mean, I think that we have to normalize that, especially with our daughters,
Yes.
with our girls.
Yes.
Now my daughter's about 60% rat right now.
She has to mature.
She's got a little
gotta go
growing.
through all her
She's loving it,
seasons.
too.
Be aware of your lady rat
Yeah.
balance. Where are you?
Right.
Where are you with your lady rat
Yeah.
balance? Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a ratio?
Oh, it depends on my cycle.
Okay.
But most of the time, I would say I'm certainly 90% lady. That's my goal.
Okay.
But the rat, I don't always. I would like for her to show up more often. Now, but when I was younger, she was there, like ready all the time.
Yes.
But because of that, I did lose some friendships.
Yeah.
And they were people that I valued, that I respected, that I loved. And maybe I said something, maybe they caught me on the wrong day, and I said something, and that was that. And so now, I'll take a little longer to think about it.
Yeah.
But it's not the first thing in my toolbox.
Right.
For sure. Even with it never has been, but I think I've always admired those girls. Like, give me a hood rat any day. Like, I will.
Yeah, and you gravitate towards people that you don't have those qualities.
Yes.
Very true.
You need
I love
Yeah.
that energy. I love girls that can like speak up for themselves
Yes.
and like read you
Yes.
up and down
Yes.
and like not care.
Yeah.
I love that because
Yeah.
there have been times when instead of me doing that, I would let people walk all over me.
okay.
Or I wouldn't speak up for
Yeah.
myself. And then I would just be really angry about it and think about, okay, what could I have done differently?
Yeah.
Or I would just cut them off.
Yeah.
When I could have just cussed them out and then moved on.
Yeah.
Like, I think about sometimes a good cuss out and move on would have been just fine, or discuss it in a mature way.
Yeah.
But my go-to when I was very, very young, because I was the only girl, there were 5 of us, I was the only girl, I had 3 brothers for 11 years. I was so quick. Like, my mouth, I'm still very witty and quick.
Yeah.
But I could rip you apart
For sure.
and not care at all.
Yeah.
So that I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I do care, and I've grown and I've matured,
Yeah.
and I, value relationships. But yeah, that ratio was high.
And people can feel that. People can feel when you know how to read you from A to Z. Like, people know just because I'm developed.
Yeah.
People can meet me and say, I'm well aware that she could read me my rights at any given time.
Yeah.
But that the good Lord, right, has come down from the pearly gates and got up in her body, right? And so now she's going to spare your life, right?
Yeah.
When she could really just, so people feel that, and so they don't try you as much. I do think that there's a balance in letting people know that you have a presence about you that will not allow or tolerate you to disrespect me,
right.
But at the same time, understand that I still care for you, and I'm still going to do this in a way where now my integrity is preserved, and I'm certainly thinking about boundaries and not bridges.
Yeah. And it gives you confidence because you know who you are. You know that if you need to go there, you can. Absolutely. But you will present as, a wonderful person and move forward that way.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think that speaking on this half or some rat and then some
lady.
Some lady. I feel like growing up, I think I was more in a 100% lady, but didn't have enough rat like I needed it. And growing up, and I kind of, when I think back about it, I feel like I was kind of self-sabotaging myself at that during those times because I didn't speak up when I needed to. And so as I've gotten older, I think I have developed more rats and more than 5 or 10%.
Come on now.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
But you're speaking of more of relationships outside the house because inside the house you were the boss.
Are you talking about when I was?
Yeah, like growing up, you were. She would beat up boys for William. Like her younger brother. She'd chase the bullies away.
For myself, I feel like when it mattered in my own relationship in school, I don't think I stood up enough for myself in those moments.
Right.
And when I think back about it, I'm not proud of that because I feel like I let myself down in those moments.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, though, I have rebounded that.
What gave you the courage to do that? What was the shift in you recognizing that?
I feel like I found my voice.
Yeah.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like I was just needing to stand up and stand for what was right.
Yeah.
And just seeing how my life was playing out, I needed to do something about it.
Did you snap? Was it like a?
It really wasn't a snap moment. Well, I don't know if it was really a snap moment, but there were some instances where I just had to take the reins and say, this is how I'm gonna move forward in this. I was afraid. Yeah. It was scary. Yeah. I didn't necessarily want to do it. Yeah. And I kind of straddled the fence a little bit. But after a few instances of, whatever the situation was, I just moved forward in that.
Yeah. And it feels so much better. I was the same way. People pleaser, always the good child. I still am the favorite daughter. I'm just kidding. Out of 4, I'm totally kidding. Not so much, but I am. I have a hat that says favorite daughter. But anyway, I spent a lot of time what do you think? What do you think? Is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And then you get tired of that. And you're like, wait a minute. I'm smart. I can figure this out. I can do it. And then you just kind of turn the page and you start feeling yourself. So it's not necessarily so much about what other people think, but what I think after I've lived, a certain way and know what I'm capable of. I don't have to use everybody's resources for everything all the time. Yeah. So it's a freeing thing as well.
Yeah. It's so freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think mine too was my anxiety. That when I would self-sabotage, it was because I was so anxious about it that it was debilitating.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't be so much about that I was burning bridges as I wouldn't even attempt to go to the bridge at all. That I've certainly worked through that with a lot of therapy and medication and yoga and
with all of the things that you've learned, how are you starting to translate that with your parenting and your children?
So a couple things. One, a story to answer that is I went to this chiropractor And he asked me the strangest, most bizarre question. He says, do you seek feedback in your profession daily? What on earth
Why would you be asking you that?
is he asking me that? So this expert that was referred to me, I can't think of his name. He said, your body, your shape of your spine, right, leans or folds forward in different directions. And his research suggests that he can tell you whether you've been abused, whether you have a job that has been through things, whether, because your posture and your body forms to this. So this man asked me, do I have a job that, you know, seeks feedback, which I do. I own an ad agency. I'm constantly sending my work to my clients and saying, approve, do you like it, do you not like it? So as a parent, to answer your question, I'm very in tune with the internal and external factors that shape and mold our children, right? And I think that what I teach them is how they have to be so grounded in their bodies, right? That has to be so built up, that armor of their identity, that armor of literally of allowing words and allowing all of these things, but also creating such a safe space for them to have emotion, right? And for us to deal with it as a family and openly, so that I can help them with that muscle. A lot of things that I do in my household is I let them tell me when they ask me for advice, how would you handle this? I affirm a lot of the things, even if I don't necessarily agree sometimes, and throw it back. How would you handle it? Because I find that they have to build this muscle of making decisions, of trusting their instinct. So I'm an instinct builder in my house. I'm gonna build your instinct. You're gonna get these instincts built. What does your instinct tell you? Oh, it told me that I should walk away. Well, did you walk away? No, I didn't. Well, what happened when you didn't? I got hurt. What would you have done different? What would you have? No, what would you have done? I would have walked away next time. I think I would have done that too. That's my parenting, affirming them all the time. There was also something I read recently that says that we talk to our kids on average of 7 minutes a day. We're not bossing them or teaching them, or 7 minutes a day. That's it.
That's not enough.
That's not enough. So when you think of their experience with us as parents, I tried to increase that 7 minutes. I said, I'm going to get 8 minutes. I'm going to get 10 minutes.
So
I'm
true.
Gonna get
Even
this.
in the car, people are taking a walk. I always tell parents, get your kids off of the phone in the car. Absolutely. That is the best place to talk to them, because they're trapped. They're looking out the window if you're not allowing them to be on the phone or the iPad. You don't need that stuff. Just strike a conversation.
Without lecturing.
Without lecturing.
Without
just like
teaching.
I wonder what color I'm going to paint my nails today. Or just like free-flowing, natural conversation. It's you're so right. The parents are missing so much of that with these damn tablets and phones that they're just giving to them at damn near newborns now.
It's sad. It's sad. So that's how I try to teach my kids, you know, be in tune, build it up, using language that allows them to understand all of this right now, modeling it. That's the biggest thing. Model it. I don't try to just teach it. Oh, they heard me on a conversation going off, you know, hey, you know,
so true.
Mom, I just want to apologize to you. You got to see me really be inhuman. I wasn't really proud of how I just conducted my conversation. Or waking up, ooh, I think I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm not going to give you that energy today. Or can you call me out if you think that mom woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Can you make me aware of that so that I can call me into this equation? So a lot of
let them know that you're human.
Absolutely, because we can't just talk to our kids and say don't do this. They have to see you actually display it. So they're still gonna be in therapy though. Well,
now we're taught that it's not a bad thing, so whatever.
About us. They're still gonna be talking about me in the therapy.
I'll pay the copay.
You'll pay the copay.
Right. I'll join. I'll let you three-way me into the call, zoom me into the.
So Kara, your book, does it go through steps for helping you come out of your self-sabotaging?
Absolutely. It really does. I think that, the awareness around it is key. I think it talks about accountability partners.
Oh.
If you've got an abundance of negative folks in your friend circle, there's great. I always have that friend that's going to first validate when I'm hot and I'm pissed off. So, I'm not saying to get rid of that friend. I'm saying to find some diversity in what you're having in your circle. And sometimes that is game changing, right? If you are noticing that you are hard on yourself all the time and you are in a circle with people who are overachievers, who are always hard on yourself, you need to find somebody who's gentle with themselves. And you need to start having some conversation with them, because that is what, and it talks about those steps in this book and how freeing that is. This extends to finances. If you got a friend circle of all folks that's going to be like, yep, let's go shop, let's go and get this Chanel, let's go and let's do all these things, let's go eat our money away all the time. Let's go do that. Then you might need to get you a frugal friend.
Yeah.
You need to maybe find you a friend that's going to say, look, because I'm not her, so don't.
I'm not her. I don't think I have one.
I'm on the fence.
No, you're not. You will go shop with me in a second.
But you find that friend who's like, ooh, I have, $50 on my credit card debt. I'm like, oh, just 50. Okay, I need to roll with you because it's a little higher over here. So, I think that you need to find that balance in your circle, and you need to know why you're using that person in their circle. And I don't mean using in a bad way. We live in LA. I'm not talking about using this person to get ahead. I'm saying that tell this person, I admire you for how conscious you are around your finances. And this is why I'm going to be spending some more time with you if you don't mind. I hope you find something in me.
Oh, that's a great way to say it,
because we need to stop, there is so many things that we can learn from each other and each other's circles. So, get you get you a diverse group of friends. And I'm not talking about, rate. I'm talking about this talents and skills. So my crew is
it's
diverse.
important. That's what we've been learning through this podcast. We've met so many phenomenal women.
Absolutely.
Just from different backgrounds, different stories. And it's to hear how they've gotten to a certain place and what they come with. It's just been so fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get to the juicy stuff.
Lord.
So, Kara,
yes.
I am, and I don't really love this term, I am a cougar by happenstance.
Come on.
Only because my first husband, I was 4 years older than him when we got
I thought it was
divorced.
I
5.
didn't know you had a first husband. You've been married more than once?
No.
Oh.
There's a next one somewhere.
She's speaking
down.
into existence.
Yes, down the line. My next husband, I don't know what
He's
will
coming.
be.
Yes.
He's on his way.
With that bustier on, he coming
With that red
today.
lip.
Let's give it up for the bustier today.
Right.
And then, so when I got back in the dating pool, another guy that I was dating seriously was 4 years younger than me.
Okay.
Your husband, wonderful looking husband came in, and I heard that he is a number of years
8
younger
years
than you.
younger.
Tell us about that. How did you snag that?
So,
How did he snag you?
Or vice versa,
He
yes.
did, because I was not thinking about him. I was in a relationship on and off for 7 years, and I was feeling very unappreciated in that relationship, to be honest with you. And I think I would keep going back. What is the kids call it? Running the block, circling.
Circling the block. Yeah.
That's the term. I would keep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
circling the block, right, with
Yeah.
him, because really just, companionship, comfortability.
Comfortable. Yeah.
But I asked a friend, I said, do you know of any trainers? I like to box. Do you know any trainers who come to your home and will, teach you boxing moves and come to your home gym? And everybody kept giving me the same recommendation. They were like, oh, you don't know Bam? He's from Chicago. Like,
Oh, and you're from Chicago.
from Chicago. So this brother came to my home, and I could not stand him at first. Okay.
That's normally how it
I
goes.
did not like him. He was because he met me, and my sister had just passed away, so I was still dealing with that a little bit. But when I met him, he said, oh, I used to train a woman who also owned a marketing company who lived in the same building as you and who scammed me. And I was like, if this...
So you trying to say I'm scamming
I
you?
said, well, I'm glad I'm not trying to get your business, and I'm not her, right?
Right.
So I mean, he kind of irritated me when we first. But he was. I looked at him like he was 12 years old. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I was like, he was so young,
Right?
And he had a girlfriend at the time, but what I appreciated as we started training together is how much attention he took. I mean, and he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend. I broke up with my boyfriend, and it was like Zoom. He was
All while you guys
me
were training.
while we were training. I know, don't judge
Was
me.
it because of each other, or it just happened that way?
I think I started noticing.
You're like, he likes me.
I definitely noticed how he would anticipate all of my needs in a different way. Like,
Would he get behind you like this move? You go like this.
I teased him about it. I said, were you a creepy? He was not really a creepy trainer with me. He really had boundaries, so he wasn't one of those. But I really liked the fact that he was just, if I was hungry, he would know all the little spots, and he was kind of just cool in knowing the spots that I didn't know. And he has a body, and I just, was just like, and I started noticing that Tupac, I was a Tupac girl, and my friend said he looks like Tupac, and when she called that out,
You couldn't let it go.
You were his Jada.
I started becoming his Jada, right? And
Oh my God, Jada of all people.
So and he was on me hard. I mean, in the sense of pursuing me in the way that was just so, I mean, it was just the most romantic way.
And were you guys aware of the age difference
I think
at the time?
I think I was, because right before I broke up with my boyfriend, he was like, I don't think you should train with him. And I said, why? And he was like, you would not like it. That's your type. And I said, chocolate ball headed.
You're right.
Bald and chocolate. He was my type. But I denied that to the end. I was like, no, he wasn't. He's so young. But he was just fun. He was fun. He was spontaneous. I was rigid and planning. I would, always have my laptop. He would just take it out of my lap, and he would just be like, pick a direction. And I would be like, south. And he'd be like, okay, we're going to drive to this place. And just fun and just the balance that I needed at that time.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for him. And when we would argue and fight, I would think that would be ending. So I was like, okay, we're done. Yeah. And he would tell me like, have you not, we just had a disagreement, right? Like, why does it need to be over? Yeah. And I realized that he exposed something in me at the time, and he was far more mature in other ways, because I was like, I'm not dealing with this, right? I'm out. And he was like, we just had a small disagreement. Like, you don't know how to work through problems. So just that level of balance.
Yeah, you're like, he's emotionally mature.
Far more emotionally mature than what I was at the time. And so, I mean, it came, sometimes it's not always the case now. Yeah. But he was fun. And he was, I mean, we're married folk now, but he was fun.
Babies. So they're not babies anymore, but they are adorable.
Now, did you want to have children prior to meeting him, or because he was younger, you were like, okay, I need to have kids now, or how did that?
Never thought about getting married much. Never thought about having kids. I thought about Paris. I thought about Europe. I thought about traveling. That was not I never thought about those things. We got pregnant, and it was not planned. And it was, and we had only been dating for a short amount of time. So I felt very convicted. I grew up in a spiritual household. So I thought that, this is not going to be right. I didn't know him as well. And I just remembered him telling me he was really ready for this.
Oh, wow.
At a point that I was very unsure. And I'm so grateful for that, because I think that without his wisdom around that piece of it, who knows? My life would have probably been in some place totally different. So I say he saved my life by
That's really
saying
sweet.
he was ready for this baby. The baby, my son Kai, was born on the exact same day that my sister had a baby who passed away.
Oh, wow.
So I knew that she had blessed me and she had sent my baby to me.
That's so sweet.
Thought she was a gift from my sissy up above. So
that's very sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but he, it was fun dating him. Still is sometimes, I must say.
Because what are you now? A decade in?
Yeah, we are 10 years in. We've only been married for 2 or 3. I'm like the 3, maybe 3 years.
Right.
I'm the man in the relationship. I don't remember the dates. He does.
But how do you feel as far as keeping up with him? And
It's hard. It's hard. He is in training. He wants to, he wants me all the time.
Hey.
And I'm like, ooh, And
Give me a minute.
So that sounds like a perk to a younger man.
it is, but it's not. I mean, so now I'm so overcommitted at times. I'm busy. And so I'm not there. I mean, hormones are coming into play. So I have to kind of just keep up with him sometimes. And he kind of has to understand the life of an entrepreneur and a mom that still tries to cook dinner a few times a week and keep a house and be a good friend and all of that. So sometimes I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling as ready as he is all the time. But I'm trying to get there and keep up with my sweet honey.
That's great.
Now, do you feel the pressures physically? I mean, you're beautiful. Do you feel that you always need to look younger? Are you embracing aging? Do you have any grays that you dye? How does that work?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
No grays inside.
Yeah.
No, I think that I naturally do things like I'm a very much a lady. Like I like to oil my body and when I get out of the bath. And so I am constantly trying to make myself feel sexy.
Yeah.
But I've had a habit of doing that. It wasn't like something I got in this relationship. So I think he gets to see how I love on myself.
Yeah.
In every sense of the way. I think that also attracted him to me. So I don't feel the pressure for him. And also he's never made an issue of that. I've always feel moments where I've said, ooh, I haven't loved on myself in a long time. So I more do that. And I notice that also helps in my relationship.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'll spend a little bit more time with myself in all ways, which sometimes I get away from. And then he knows that. He was like, oh, this is a woman that really has had a lot of time in loving herself and feeling sexy with herself. So sometimes, but not much, where I feel I need to keep up. I sometimes stare at him like, wow, that's me,
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, like
Sometimes
he looks good.
that, yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I should do a push-up or a plank or something. But
I should do a
And he's
push-up.
so sweet bringing this book over here. That was very nice of him to do that.
he is sweet as pie. I will say that. He still sends me texts all the time. He still likes to French kiss. When he comes home, I'm like,
I like doing that too.
You do?
Yes, I love
I do
it.
too.
What
but
about
it doesn't happen unless it's happening.
No, I just like to make out.
I do too, but I'm
Yes,
saying
I
I need to do that a
I
little
haven't
more
done it in a while,
when it's
but
not
when
happening.
when it's on, it's
So
on.
what
I
makes
love it.
have you always liked to make out?
I think so. I just like to kiss. I like the intimacy of it, and I just like touching people's lips. I just love it.
Okay, so what about even after a long day and you know that he has not brushed his teeth since,
I don't care. Morning, noon, and night. I don't
Okay,
care.
I just wanted to make sure. See, that's where I get a little weird. I'm like,
Yeah, I do too. I'll say, did you
don't
brush your
care.
teeth?
can you brush? I need to get over that though.
I like morning everything.
Okay.
I like morning everything.
You like morning everything.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah, see, I need to get cooler. I love that. I need to be friends with you. See what we just talked
I
about?
think that's cool. Just think you just make yourself ready. I mean, people don't smell the best in the morning or do everything at night, and then when
You're right, because I
In the
noticed I
morning
put
time,
some
you're
lip
right.
gloss on before I went to bed, and then when I got up at like 4 to do a morning pee, I was like, my lips are still like shiny and moist. They just say it all night.
you're just sleeping.
I know, but I surprised myself. I was like, wait a minute, why are my lips so shiny?
Yes, it's good to do. It's a good habit. That night lip mask
Yeah.
keeps
Yeah.
it juicy in the morning.
Yeah. So what's your best self-care tip that you would give a middle-aged mama?
I think it's if you are in a relationship or if you're not, I think that it's so important to model adoring yourself with just physically. Like, again, that starts to me with a good skincare regimen. I think that sometimes we I don't spend a lot of time on makeup. My daughter did my makeup today, but I spend a lot of time on body care and skincare.
Okay.
And so my best self-care is that when you feel moisturized, when your heels and your nails are done, I mean, there is just something about that confidence that no matter what you're going through, you know, ooh, I'm walking out in the world and people are going to be attracted to the glow, right? To the shine and all that. So I really try to spend time with myself in doing that. And then I also do reading. I try to read or listen to books on tape a lot. That's something I try to do a little bit more often because I love doing that. I love hearing different perspectives, and not just my own. Yeah. So that's good. A good self-care.
That's good. That's good. That's a different one. Yeah. So what would you tell your 18-year-old self? What advice would you give little Kara?
I would tell her, you manifested too low. You talked about wanting to have $1 million company. That's so easy now.
Okay.
Like, you better put them goals, because as my kids, these kids are knowing how to manifest. They're knowing how to, the laws of attraction. They got that lesson. I would say, you know, set the bar so high about maybe thinking about trying to, you know, do a merger and acquisition, going IPO, selling your company, owning, you know, a yacht. I don't know. Like, I just think that I wanted to have, like, I remember saying I wanted to have $1 million home, and I wanted to be able to travel the world. And I think that now those things are such realities for our circle, for our world. So now I want my 18-year-old self to know that she should have put the bar higher, because I think it would have raised what she tried to learn a little earlier. I mean, now we're in the business right now. We built this agency and people have approached us and we're like a fish out of, we don't know what we're doing. So now we're trying to catch up on saying, ooh, maybe if one day we did think about doing a merger or selling our company, what would that look like? We're going back to school again. Who the hell has time to learn this at this age, and we still got to do the work? So I would tell my 18-year-old self to aim higher. I would also tell my 18-year-old self a lot of the stuff that most people say about how society will put this interesting pressure on yourself, on you, about, like, with this social media world. I would really teach the lesson of filters very early, which I do with my kids. Like, this is not real. This filter that mom has on this Snapchat is not real. And I need you to know that. And I need you to know that people have problems that they're not putting on display. And so I really want them to understand the pressure that they get to see. They have a front row seat at. And lastly, I would say with this generation that there is something about being addicted to convenience that is not good.
Quick.
We want to have Amazon at our house, which makes you buy bad purchases, right? You can't touch and feel the quality, and mom's addicted to it too, so I get it. But sometimes go back to that tradition of going into the store and touching fabric, to going back into that Encyclopedia Britannica or the dictionary and turning those pages.
That's really rich.
To get in touch with your elders and to go sit and listen to stories. I love older people.
Me too.
If you're not 80 and older, good luck in getting my crew now. Like, I want you to be 85 and older, right?
Yes, so true.
So just the art of sitting down next to somebody's chair and just listening, or sometimes sitting in silence, is a great trait to have. So I'm trying to teach my 18-year-old self that you don't have to have it at your doorstep in 24 hours or less. You don't have to have the DoorDash, the Postmates, the Instacart.
Wait out for Shein.
Yes. Don't
wait for that long shipping.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, go back into the store.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really good. That's really good. We can talk to you all day long, but we know you have several things to get to. So thank you so much for stopping by and dropping so many gems. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok too, but I'm not as active there.
I know. I can't figure that either.
It's so fun. I'm so addicted.
I know. I'm on Instagram at Kara Sax.
Okay.
And then my agency is the Sax Agency. So that's where you can find me.
Okay. Well, this is the wonderful Kara Sax.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to share Australia and Canada. We see you. And tell a friend. Tell a friend. We're here bringing episodes every Tuesday we drop. And check us out on YouTube. Bye.
Bye.